Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
Hello and welcome to a brand new series called NSE FinWiz, powered by CNBC TV 18, where we travel the country to meet young professionals across various sectors and organizations. We get our experts to give them sound financial and investment advice so that they get the maximum bang from their buck. To flag off the series, we're in the heart of Gujarat in Ahmedabad. We begin this series at an urban cooperative bank called the Seva Bank in Ahmedabad, which was set up in 1974 for women who work in the unorganized sector.
Self-Employed Women's Association, or SEVA as it's popularly known, is an organization and a movement that provides an excellent work structure for women in the unorganized sector who want to create a niche for themselves in the society. One such sister organization of SEVA is Shri Mahila Seva Sahakari Bank Limited that provides suitable financial services for socio-economic empowerment and self-development of women below poverty line. Focusing on our theme for the series, we gauge thoughts and notions of young professionals of Seva Bank comprising of women to understand their approach towards investments and financial planning.
I have done a very rough research about my income and my spending activities. So I've come to a conclusion that I am almost spending around 30% of my income. So 70% is usually being saved. And regarding saving, I would say that mostly looking towards the current market situation, I'm preferring banks, giving the most priority to the banks for my investment.
Currently, the portfolio of my savings consists of fixed deposits and gold. And I do prefer gold over fixed deposits because with the rising prices in gold, I do prefer gold savings as better.
Someone can help in that and they can handle the whole portfolio. We can give the direct payment to them. And that is only possible, but we cannot directly go and check all that things and then after we can invest some things.
With a raring-to-go attitude, these budding professionals of Seva Bank were enthusiastically looking forward to the forum with our financial experts to take in the advice and pose their queries on smart financial planning.
That will be a very good opportunity if I'll be having such kind of experts for my investment decisions. So I'll try to learn from them how they analyze the market, what they actually try to look into the market for taking their decisions regarding investment, and what are the various risk return opportunities or risk return coincidences which they used to consider.
The financial experts which are coming to Seva Bank, I would just want to know about that because number of IPOs and number of companies is coming, so where to invest, how to invest and what are the procedures to invest and where our money is secured and we are getting the maximum return of our money.
Well, we're now at the head office of the Seva Bank in Ahmedabad, and I'm joined by two very special guests. First up, we have Mr. Pankaj Matpal, who's a certified financial planner and also the director at Optima Money Managers. And we also have Mr. Harsh Rungta, who's the CEO of ApnaPaisa.com. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here. Harsh, my first question to you is, there are a lot of common mistakes that people make while investing. Throw some light on some of those.
I think if I was to pick up investing as a category, I think what you do before investing is probably, if not more, at least it is as important as investing itself. Before you even begin investing, you need to make sure that any of the risks that you have to invest, right? You need to make sure that those risks are covered because any investment plan that you will do can get completely derailed. If, for example, if you are the person earning, okay, if you were to die, or if you or somebody in the family is going to be hospitalized. Now, unless those risks are covered, I may start doing investing, right? And if this risk comes, and those risks come, whether we want to talk about it or we don't want to talk about it. So I think, just like as in cricket, if you want to be a good aggressive batsman, you need a great defense. And I think to be a good investor, you need the defense of insurance, which is life insurance, health insurance, etc.
And the common misconception, I believe, is that people consider insurance to be a part of their investment.
Absolutely. So that was the second thing. So insurance is normally mixed with investment. It does not make sense. You know, like somebody says, ki, don't mix it. You neither get good insurance nor do you get good investment. So when you take insurance, take insurance. And when you invest, invest.
Pankaj, now a lot of the people here are new investors or are relatively new investors saving and they've started investing. Throw some light on the different asset classes that one has as options to invest in.
See, before coming to this asset classes, I will say whenever you invest, the most important thing is that you should understand product. One product which is good for somebody else may not be good for you. When you determine the asset class or investment product, your objective of investment, risk appetite, and investment horizon, that is very important. If you're investing for short term, then equity may not be a good product. But if you have long-term goal, you are investing for long term, then definitely we have always seen that in long term, equity has outperformed other asset classes. So we cannot say that equity is bad, equity is risky, or FD is bad. All products have its merit and demerits. But for whom it suits, for whom it is good, that is important.
Now we're here at a bank. All of them are bank employees. So it's obviously they must be, or they know of FDs very well. It's in their comfort zone. They do that on a daily basis. So I'm sure they must be thinking, I have my FD, I have my money in FD. Why should I invest in the stocks? Why should I invest in gold? What's your answer to that?
I think bank FD is an excellent asset, right? And obviously that is why we have so many banks, and we have close to, I think, 80 lakh crores of FD in the system. So obviously FDs is an excellent instrument. It serves a certain purpose. But when you put money in FDs for the long term, for the real long term, 5 years, 10 years, think of it as money that you have put in a safe which has got a small little mouse inside it. Okay? And that mouse is slowly nibbling away at the money. Even as the bank is adding some interest to it, they open the safe and add money every quarter. But there is this little mouse inside that safe which is nibbling away that. So at the end of 10 years, if the mouse has nibbled away more than what the bank has added, you may end up with less money than what you had started with. Now this mouse is inflation. So this is okay. I mean, it's okay for 3 years, 2 years. Sometimes it's okay even for long term for certain people. But clearly, so everything has a certain place for a certain need. So if I know for sure that at the end of 3 years I need money, then possibly FD is the best way to save that, so that I know I will get that much money. I will live with that mouse. I will estimate how much that mouse is going to take away and save that much.
And how would you advise them to move again from FDs if they want to start taking some of their portfolio and start moving out of maybe just FDs and going into say stocks or maybe gold? What are the couple of steps that they need to take?
See, first thing, when we invest, any instrument we select, your liquidity, returns, and safety. You are concerned about 3 things. But you all know that if you want to generate a little bit extra return, then you have to be ready to take extra risk. But how much extra, that is important. So it is not always returns are important, but also it is risk-adjusted return what is important. So now the question what is said that how to take step. Or before that, I just want to add one more thing. What he said that one is inflation, which eats out your returns, and also tax. When you invest in fixed deposit, if suppose you get 9% interest and you are in 30% tax bracket, so you are paying 2.4% out of that 9%.
There are two
so
mouses.
Exactly. So only 5.6% come in your hand. If I take average inflation of 8% and you get net 5.6%, it means you are not able to beat inflation. So it means the purpose of investment will not be achieved, because when you invest, you sacrifice your current expense, you sacrifice your current consumption, so that you invest some money which will help you achieving your future goals.
Don't go anywhere. NSE FinViz, powered by CNBC TV 18, continues after this short break.